What's going on, guys? Welcome back. And today I'm going to be reviewing Little Women. Now, this is not kind of the usual movie that I would review, and in case you're wondering why I didn't have this in my list video of like all the movies I saw this year, is I didn't know I was going to see this movie when I did that video. So if I were to place it on that list, I would put it at my new number 4 on the list. I would put it before before Spider-Man Far From Home, but just behind Tolkien, I think, on that list. This is probably a better movie than Tolkien, but I can see myself rewatching Tolkien more sooner. But what I think about the movie, first of all, the cast is fantastic. There's a lot of great talents in it. Like Emma Watson, obviously, from Harry Potter fame, and she's also in Beauty and the Beast a few years ago, and yeah, and like Meryl Streep, of course, Laura Dern as well, like a great cast, like all around, and even the actresses and actors that I haven't seen in too much else did a pretty great job. It's excellently directed. I love the style of this movie. Very amazing sweeping shots. You get beautiful landscapes. It's just very nice to see from all the over exaggeration of green screen that we get in all these movies nowadays. It was just nice, really nice to see. So that was fun. It was very funny as well. The movie was very funny. The movie did a good balancing act of the tone, where some of the scenes felt very funny, and then some of them were very emotional and like heartbreaking and very impactful. It did a good job of balancing the tone, unlike a lot of Marvel movies. I thought that was my biggest problem with the movie, was the tone, but that's not actually my problem with it, because I can tell that's what they're going for, and it didn't actually undermine a lot of the emotional beats for me. Like, what I will say is, I haven't really been, like, I don't really know this story very well. I haven't, like, read this story before. I might have had it been, like, someone might have read it to me a long time ago, but it's not a movie that I've really, or a story that I've read a lot in the past, but I will say I definitely enjoyed the first hour and a half a lot more than the last half hour. It just felt like in a book, you can expand a lot more on these story beats. And they did an interesting job of, the main character is actually the person writing this story, and it's her life, if you didn't know. So they did a good job of balancing that. Like, she's like in this place with this guy who's going to be publishing her book, and there's some funny stuff that comes from that, which I thought was very clever. But it feels like there's some things, like a certain character is sick in the film, and this character dies. That's kind of a spoiler, but not really, because if you know the story. And it just feels like when you get to that, it's very impactful and very emotional. But the way they get to that feels very rushed. And that's kind of, there's another plot point as well with, a relationship between a few characters. It's kind of a love triangle. It felt like they didn't really address it too much until the end. And then they just kind of shoved it in, and it felt very forced and very, rushed past, which is a problem that you have with a book adaptation. So I understand that is a problem that comes from a book adaptation to a film, but that's just kind of my biggest problem with the movie. And I will say, this is not my type of film. It's not a film that I would rewatch a lot, but it's a film that I very much respect on quite a few levels. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie of the year. Like I said, it's my number 4, but it's a movie that I really respect a lot more than I can see myself rewatching a lot. But I really respect what they were going for, and for what it was, I had a blast watching it. But there are problems with it being a book adaptation, and some of those things just don't work as well when you're adapting a book to a film. There's a lot of books that don't work as movies. I'm not going to say this didn't completely work, but towards the end, it just kind of lost me a little bit. But, I had a blast with Little Women. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was excellent, but it's not a film that I will probably be rewatching a lot. It's not, and it's not, when I say it's not my type of film, I'm not saying the cast is all women, so I therefore hate it because it's feminist propaganda. That's not what I'm saying. I had no problem with that, because that's what this story is about. So I had no problem with that, but I'm not saying it's a film that I'm going to be rewatching a lot more, but I respect it very much, and I appreciate the style and the direction and everything put into it, really. It's just an excellent film. So I would give this movie an A or an A-. I think I'm leaning more towards an A-. I had a blast watching it, but it has some problems adapting a book to a film. And like I said, I'd put it at my number 4 behind Tolkien, my new number 4 on my list, behind Tolkien and before Spider-Man Far From Home. But as always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.